So I've been tidying up the parts that you see here, the charcoal, some of the whites, trying to figure out where everything falls into place. And I was gonna begin with putting on the thing, but I'll do that later. Right now I just want to look at the backpack, because there's so many leftover charcoal parts, and I don't know how it's integrated into the blue parts, which I'm going to clean up soon, and then have it separate, because obviously those blue parts will be separate and easy for me to paint. But I began working on the backpack. Backpack actually comes into several parts here, which I'm reviewing. Like this part can be going up and down. I don't know what gimmick that would be, but I can take this off. Easy for me to paint. So is this. I'm seeing this little vent here, and I'm saying to myself, I could probably paint this a different color. Maybe I'll clad it with chrome, or maybe dark metal, aluminum, or aluminum. I don't know what to call it. All right, so this one is this. Then I was assembling this part, which is the actual manipulator that comes out, which looks really nice. I like the detail on this. Pretty cool. Very nice detail. Of course, it can be folded up, as you can see here, like so. There we go. And then, using this part and the other one, I assembled this, which can be taken apart. I was test fitting this because obviously I want to make sure I can take it out and paint it and then put it back together. The seam line is right along the edges here, so it doesn't interfere with the look of the kit. Very smart for Bandai. But the whole gimmick is this comes up like that, and then there you go. Nice. Very nice. We'll just put that there for now. There's this little part here that's connected to this. Obviously when I take it off, this has to be taken off as well, because this represents this guy, the thruster vent, like there. So that one goes there, and that one goes here, where the other one, extra one is, like this, and that goes over there. So yeah, I was assembling this part. Let me assemble the other one. And I believe it's specific in specific areas. So that one goes there. That one goes there. I see some scarring there. Let me just do a light pass. There we go. Then we have this part that goes there. And according to this, from the manual, this little guy, which is also one of those the parts that, for the thrusters as well, that goes into place like so. And interesting. It's unique on it's not unique on both ends. It's the same side. So I believe that goes there, and this could be holding up either the rail cannon for that side or the missile pack on this side. So it's good. At least not one area is unique to the other. So that's good to know. I'll take that apart, begin cleaning up more. I was also looking at the fuel tanks, which is basically it's basically easy to work with, and there's only one part that goes in, and that's this guy right here, which is also bleeds out the thrusters on this end, this end, this end, and on both sides. I will definitely, once I finish cleaning it up, I'll keep it like this, halfway, so that way it's easy for me to, use my alligator clips to go over there. But easy for me to paint and then remove, so then I can apply it to here. And this thing is maneuverable, so this is kind of cool. So yeah, building the inner frame parts for the backpack and the thrusters are easy, and quite possibly easy for me to disassemble, paint, and then reassemble. Let's see what other parts I can work with here. So I've been working on some more of the charcoal parts, especially this one, which is the connector to the shield. As a matter of fact, I'll take this one here, and there's a little notch there that connects it into place, and it can be positioned up and down, which is kind of cool. That's nice. Don't know if I have to paint the inside. I'll look at the manual later on, but definitely it's going to be, you know, panel lined if whatnot. But this is something to expect. I was working on some other parts, like the portion of the cannon, or not the cannon, yeah, the cannon for this, which goes like there, and the barrels itself, which spent a lot of time sanding down the round parts. These parts right here and these parts right here, because they put the actual connector, the gate of the tree to the edges there. Why couldn't they do it here? I have no idea. And they did the same thing here, where it was right in the middle, and there's a seam line that went around the whole fucker right there. So I spent a good majority of my time sanding it down. Now I couldn't use this because this is a flat surface, and I have this one, which is a 320 ultra fine grit, but it's starting to crack a bit, and it's kind of hard with something this big. I was gonna cut it and use something a little bit more manageable, but I forgot that I purchased these God Hand Tools 400. These are great. These were perfect. I was able to precisionally sand it down to a specific point where I got rid of the seam lines, including the little notch from the gate, from the sprue, or from the, you know, when I clipped it off. Then I finished it off with a 1500 for it to clean it up a bit more. I even went as far as using one of my little Mr. G tools, and I believe this is an... Actually, hold on a second. Shut up. This is like an 800 or 600 grit. So it was nice and smooth for me to, you know, rough it a bit here and there, just clean it up. So that was a bit of a challenge, as well as this one where I had to sand the edges, but not everything above that. So that took me a lot of time for this, a lot of time. Which now brings me to this part, which is kind of pissing me off. Kind of. Now, I already glued it, and I sanded it down, and I don't know if you guys can see, you can barely see the seam line. Maybe you can, but obviously when it's primed, it's going to cover the whole thing up. But even though this side and this side look good, look over there. See? I can do this, and hopefully it will work. I'm praying it will, because I'm glad that I had this. It's kind of hard to do it, and I have to do it in a slow pace because you have the top part and it's bumping in. There was at one point that I was thinking of cutting this with a Dremel, just cutting it, so I can sand the inside. Now, many of you are saying, why would you do that? You'll damage the part. Well, let me show you something. Let's proceed with, like, if we're going to continue with the build of the twin beam rifle. So you have this, and then you have the body of the actual weaponry itself. If I take this and put it through here just a little bit, as you can see, it holds on pretty nice. So if I cut it and then I put it back on, I'm going to be gluing it on anyway. and it's kind of hard to take it off. So once you put it in there, it's in there. But I'm going to peacefully do this as best as I can. Yeah, it's starting to show that it's starting to go. The seam line. 400 grit. Always looking to get in this. Always. Doesn't matter if it has to be from Hobby Link Japan or go to your local hardware store. This is not 400. This is I believe 120 or 160 may be the equivalent to this, because I don't know. I've seen it not be the same. Where the I had, you know, the yellow brick that I had, the sanding brick. That is the equivalent to this, but it's not It's not 400. It's another number. I completely forgot what it was. But looking to always getting 400 grit. Then obviously you want to go another higher up. This one is ultra fine. That's fine, technically. And then you want to go with something like this one, which is 800. 800 or 600. One of those two. This will, you know, even it out a bit. Oops. Yeah, I haven't done that side yet. This will clean it out a bit. So always look into that. So great, I have this. I'm going to continue with this. Oh, I forgot to mention from this part. As much as I like it and how this is, I'm going to take it apart. And like I mentioned before, the majority of the kit of the inner frame is going to be covered up, and for me to use gunmetal, you know, using these two colors on the inner frame, well, on this one on the inner frame, you can barely see it. Certain areas will probably show, but everything else will not. So I'm probably going to focus on a two-tone metallic color, charcoal metallic color. So for something like this, the inner frame itself, like this one, this joint here, that joint there, well, this all here and here will probably be this, while the outside will be this, and maybe even this manipulator right here. For this one, I think it's going to be all gunmetal, and then I will mask it off to paint this one the metallic gray, and maybe the design here metallic gray, and maybe this part here. The beam rifle barrels, yeah, it's going to be all this, but this and this, actually no, I think maybe this will probably be this color. Yeah, I have to feel this out, the whole thing. The one thing that I think, for the missile pack, gunmetal will be the entire body, while the metallic gray will be these two, one here and one there. Oh, and I had to put glue on this, right there. I'm going to keep sanding it down because there was a notch there that went in, and just driving me nuts. There's a lot of charcoal parts there that I have to clean up, and it's still not done yet. I'm going to be on this for several days before I even remotely look like I'm going to be putting it on plastic trees and all that stuff. So, still a work in progress. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me continue the cleaning and the sanding and all that nonsense.